Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday, and welcome to episode 3 of the Matt Hatters, the, the Mad Hatters series with myself, Matt, or as you know me, Ringoid781. Or we've branded the channel ever so slightly differently. We've made it Ringoid781 Gaming. I used to make videos a long, long time ago, and I used to just go by Ringoid781. But now we changed it up, making it Ringoid781 Gaming. And look at this. Look at this. It's very basic. It's very ghetto. I'm quite pleased with it. Um, it's the next step along in making this more of a professional production. As you can see, I've got my specs on. I've had the trim. I'm nice and professional. It's Sunday. We're all waiting for a roast dinner. My beef's in the slow cooker. Everything's great. Happy weekend, everyone. Episode 3. So you can see we are on the 1st of March. What we have done is took a massive, massive leap up the league. The last time you guys see me, I believe we were 13th and we were on something like 20 points. We look at the goal difference. We've gone on a bit of a mad one. We've made a lot of signings. We've tinkered around with players and player positioning and whatnot, and it's gone really well. I'll just show you the schedule from roughly where we left off last time. You can see this is roughly where we were when there was lots of draws and a few losses and just the odd win. I believe the next game I played after the video you last saw was this Bristol City game, and you can see, look at this. Three losses, 6-7 draws, 6-7 wins. And that is all coincided with the changes that we made. We did a bit of the data analysis, and we sort of spoke or briefly touched on what it is that we want for the series going forward and the team and whatnot. And we moved a few people about. I'll show you the tactic. It's still very much the same tactic. We are looking to keep the ball at the same time as trying to keep the ball. We're trying to push teams forward. We're trying to push people back as we go forward. Have a bit of width in there. Have a lot of people attacking in and around the box, and that's sort of the way we want to play it. We did identify creativity as an issue. The best thing we've done recently is turn Luke Berry into our holding midfielder. This was before any of the transfers happened. He's got a bit of an injury, which is why he's getting a lot of the down arrows at the moment. But you can see his value shot up. He is comfortably a deep line playmaker now for me. Lots of 12s, 13s, a couple of 15s in there as well. He's got very good traits. Gets forward whenever possible. Is probably the worst one for a deep line playmaker, but it makes it work. And I mean, 6.86 average rating. He doesn't have a lot of goals or assists. He scored 3 free kicks, I think. They're the only goals he's ever scored for us. But statistically, he's probably one of our better players. And that change coincided with an uptake in form. If we just go to our key metrics, because this is what we love. Where's my boy? Luke Berry, here we go. So you can see he's played a lot of minutes, 2,051 minutes, which is 22 starts with 8 substitute appearances. He's getting a lot of the ball, essentially. 61 passes completed per 90, which is up there with some of the higher percentiles. Chances created are 0.04. With the deep line playmaker in this particular team, they don't make a lot of the chances. They just keep us ticking over and keep us going and whatnot. And that's what Luke Berry does very, very well. Key passes, 30 key passes is insane for a deep line playmaker. And again, 2 assists is a bit nah, but he keeps us ticking over, and that was the idea. That's going to lead us onto sort of the transfer side of it. I identified a few people in the last video. You may have seen some on the tactics screen there. But we identified a few people and who we want to bring in and sort of the way we want to play and how we're doing our transfers, our scouting, whatever. And we brought a few in. If I go to the transfer history, we want to ignore everyone up until Dion Pereira, because these are all the ones that were at the club when we first joined. We'll start with the outgoings then. We sold Admiral Musque, Elijah Adarabioyo, Martin Craney, and Glenn Rea, all for money, not necessarily profit, but just a bit of money. And so looking there, 400, just over 500k. And we've turned that 500k on top of the money that we had in the coffers and at the club anyway into the signings of Owen Otasowie on loan. You guys seen him in the last video. He's the big American centre half who I've had in previous saves. He's just an absolute monster. If you utilise set pieces, this guy scores a lot of goals. Very brave, very tall, very fast. You know the dance with him. So he came in on a 1 year loan. What we want to do, because I don't know how, but we are in and around the playoff spots. He's somebody that I would like to take into the next season as well. So when it comes to the end of the season, we're going to preempt it sort of maybe just at the end of April, start of May, and maybe try and extend his loan for another year or two, because I think he's someone who can come in and do very well. Next up is George Honeyman. He came in for an upfront fee of £600,000 from Hull City. We identified him in the last video as this is the guy we wanted to be our CDM. He is fantastic. He was playing for Hull. We played a game against Hull. You see there, he got 4 assists. He's basically equalled his Hull record for us in just over half the games. And look at that average rating, 7.29. This was the point I've made previously, is that if you look at the analytics of a player on FM, if they fit into your system and analytically and statistically they're doing well in other systems, if you can get someone who is very creative, is very progressive, has got good player traits, you can put them into your system and they'll excel. And George Honeyman is a prime example of that. We play him as a deep line playmaker. One of the promises to get him in was that he'd play as a box to box, so we have to rotate him quite often just to stop him from getting a bit angry and a bit annoyed with me. But he seems to be adapting well to it. He's just fantastic. I'm so happy with this. I want to see if we can figure out what he's got. He's only got a loyalty bonus and a goal bonus in there. In terms of the transfer fee itself, say 600k rising to 850. I think that was based on like international appearances. Do you know all those little nonsense ones you throw in? You're like, well, he's never going to play for England, so let's put that up to a couple of £100,000, and they took it. He's come in, outstanding player, set piece taker, very good personality, very determined. He just fits what we want, and he was better than Glenn Raya, and that was the problem, is that Glenn Raya wasn't ticking us over as well. If we just compare George to Luke Berry in our squad hub, you'll see that George Honeyman and Luke Berry, look at this. So he's played half the games that Luke Berry has played. More passes, more chances created, more key passes. Sorry if you heard that, the dog's sneezing in the background. More key passes, double the assists, assist per 90. Defensively, maybe not as good as Luke Berry, but again, he's only played half the games. Not as good in the air, but again, he's not played as many games, so it's not that comparable. He's just somebody that's come in and licked the ground around him on fire. He's kept us ticking over very, very nicely. Next up then, another signing is the signing of Daniel Butterworth on loan from Blackburn Rovers. He is a 21-year-old striker, so he fits into sort of the ready to develop / the late bloomer, or sort of like last doors, if you want to call them that. We got him in on loan. We're only paying £1,000 a week. He's better than Cameron Jerome. He was better than Elliot Lee. He was better than Danny Hilton, who you'll see on the other side of the screen there. Danny Hilton went out. He's come in and actually, do you know what? He's done very, very well. He's somebody who I thought if we can bring him in and we can mentor him from the off, which we have been doing, if we can get his determination up to at least a 9 or a 10, this lad could actually be a very good player. 5'11", fairly quick, fairly good on the ball, got really good technique. Has come and done well. You see there, he's started 8 games, scoring 3 goals off an XG of 3.42. So he's performing about what you'd expect him to. We do want him. He's interested in coming to us, but Blackburn want like 11 mil. So again, he might be somebody that we just sort of have to just keep ticking over, tying over, and see how he goes. Can play in a multitude of positions, as you saw in the last video. the idea behind what we're doing is we need people who can play multiple positions because we don't have the money to go and spend big bucks on one position. So you'll notice that in a couple of these transfers. Um, we identified in the middle of the park we were quite light because we'd sold Glenn Raya. We yeah, we'd sold Glenn Raya. We only really had sort of Pelly Ruddock, Luke Berry, Glenn Raya, who went out, and then a couple of youngsters who could play in central midfield. So obviously George Honeyman can play in a few positions. Owen Otasowie can play in midfield if he wants to. We played him there in the FA Cup against West Ham, and he did quite well. We brought in this guy from Leicester. One of the analysts found him. He didn't play any league games for Leicester, but he was playing for the Premier League 2 Leicester team. And he was averaging about a 7.1 off the top of my head. He was doing quite well. He had never ever made an appearance for Leicester. He is a South African international, which I think is just insane. For a lad of 21, we got him in for 170k up front, and again that had bonuses attached to it. Again, look at this. Can play left back, left wing, can play deep line playmaker. They're saying he's probably best as an inverted winger. We have played him there on occasion, but I prefer playing him as the Metzala in rotation with Pelly Ruddock, and that is working out very, very, very well. Um, Again, 10 appearances in total, 1 assist. But look at his passing, his tackling percentage, his shots on target. He's very, very good. And he's somebody for 170k. If we keep him around for 1, 2, 3 years, potentially, this is somebody we could sell for a couple of million because you can see he's not even hitting what the star rating is. He's somebody who, if these 10s turn into 12s, if the 11s, 12s turns into 13s, 14s, he's somebody who could push on and progress very nicely. I'm very happy with that signing. You see here, Tariq Awakwe, the absolute number one transfer target that we spoke about in the last video, did come in. I'm very happy with the signing of him. 300 grand up front, rising up to 600 grand. He has picked up a bit of an injury. I think it's a calf injury. Yeah, double hernia he suffered in training. He's out for 4 to 5 weeks. You look at the average rating, and he's not necessarily been the standout performer. But for the player that he is and the traits he's got and whatnot and where he fits in the team, we do play him as an inverted winger off the right hand side. A 6.7 is the average of the game now. It used to be a 7, I believe, but they dropped it down to 6.7. So he's an average championship footballer at the age of 21 with a lot of potential in him. Again, we got him fairly cheap. He is developing. It's going to take him a little while to develop. As I say, in real life, he spent a season on loan at Accrington Stanley. Doesn't reflect in the game because of the database update. He has never played professional football. He's only ever played for Chelsea's youth team. Scored a couple of goals, not set any up yet, but he is quite creative. The best way to describe him in the match engine, he's just silky, man. Like, he's so good on the ball. You see, he's got a bit of flair about him. He brings it down on his chest and he just progresses us up the pitch and is always on the front foot. I'm very happy with that signing. He's already worth more than what we paid for him. Could really, really push on. He wanted a fair bit in wages, 8.25k, but we fiddled around with the budgets a little bit. And yeah, 7 appearances, 2 goals. I'm very happy with him. I think he's going to be an important player in the coming seasons. Next up, we're gonna skip that one. We're gonna skip that one, and we're gonna show you Lewis McLeod. He was a Rangers youth player, went to Brentford from there, and sort of been floating around. He is literally emergency backup, £1.5 grand. He is back up to Luke Berry and to Pelly Ruddock and to George Honeyman and whatnot. And I'm quite glad we brought him in, actually, because Luke Berry picked up an injury that's going to keep him off for a couple of months as well. So he just comes off the bench, ticks us over. He gets into the opposition area. If we play him as a box-to-box, shoots for distance, lovely. But he comes deep to get the ball as well. So when we're playing him as a deep line playmaker, comes in, does a job, bing, bang, bosh. He was not found by an analyst. He was actually recommended in one of the scouting meetings that you get through every month. He'd been released by Wigan at the end of the previous season because we didn't have the transfers on at the start. He was just floating around, and he's a good player. 2.5 star to 3 star is actually that's your first team level. Anything above that means that they're better than your first team level. 2.5, 3 star, that's your first team. If you take a lot of credence to the star ratings. But there you go. Scottish under 21 international back in the day. I'm very happy with him. He's done okay again. 6.73 average rating since he's come in, and there's that. And then we went on a bit of a rabbit hole because Cameron Jerome's physicality and whatnot is declining rapidly, and he had not scored many goals, and it was just all a bit getting a bit, you know, getting into panic mode territory. So we've got Mr. Butterworth in on loan, doing very well. I thought, well, there's got to be somebody on the free agents list who can come in, who can help develop and mentor some of the young players. And we brought in the big man. We brought in Andy Carroll on a free transfer. And again, as I say, I was through the rabbit hole with it, and I thought, good God, he's going to want stupid wages, blah, 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 blah. Actually, not necessarily. He's on 10 grand a week. He's on a 1 year deal. Well, a year and a bit deal. 18-month contract. He's worth 3.5 million. So if he didn't work out, the plan was we can sell him on at least for the 3 million, and then it's 3 million that we wouldn't have otherwise. However, Big Andy's been absolutely smashing it. 6 games, 3 goals. We do have to manage him, obviously, because of the injury proneness and whatnot. We've got his training schedule set to half intensity, which is fine. But he's playing as a pressing forward. He's actually doing very, very well. He's quite progressive. He wins the ball an awful lot. He's so aggressive. He's so good in the air. He sort of just fits what we want. So I've got no qualms with having Big Andy in there. He's actually the starting striker. Again, we'll more than likely move on at the end of the season, but it is what it is, and he's there. Just going to talk through a few more tactical nuances that we've discovered, and you might have seen there Amari Bell. He is naturally a left back. He was signed from Blackburn Rovers to play left back in rotation with a few other players. We yesterday he's on par with our first team left back. He was doing very well already this season at left back. Was getting a few assists. He was on the thumbnail for the previous video because of how well he was performing. But we had a little look, and what we want progressively as we counter is fast players who've just got a bit about them. So we started playing Amari Bell as a right winger, as an inverted winger. He's training there currently. He's not necessarily great there yet. But if you look at his form since we started playing in there, so you're looking at what the 2nd of Jan was the first time he played there. 6.6, didn't really do that much. Then he played there again a couple of days later, 6.9. And then in the game against Blackpool, he got a goal and an assist from right wing. And it's just sort of gone from there. And you can see we just sort of rotated him about. And that's another key aspect, I think, of Football Manager that people misuse or don't utilize enough is the training of players in other positions. You can identify someone within your team who can fill a role if they're young enough and they've got like a decent enough determination to do so, and you're patient enough to actually try them in those positions and play them. They need game time. The training side of it, if you just you click on development training, that's just attribute wise. That's all that's going to train is their attributes to be competent in the position they need to play there. And to me, you know, he's an average right winger, but he's doing a job when need be, and he's quick and he's direct, and it's putting a few people off. And I'm very, very, very happy with the way he's performed. To be completely honest with you, look at his average ratings through the roof, doing very well in cup competitions and in the league. I'm very happy, very, very, very happy with Amari Bell. And again, he's just adding value and just something different to the team. I've not really identified anybody else at the minute who can necessarily do that, but it's good knowing that we do have a few people in there. And swiftly moving on, we've started playing a few of the youngsters off the bench more. Avan Jones is a right back, not the best. Look at him, he's not great, but he's sort of okay. Physically, he's okay. He's not very strong, but physically, he's okay. So he plays a fair bit, comes off the bench, does a job, it's fine. 6.75 average rating for what he does. Josh Allen, made the odd appearance off the bench. Is progressing very well. His dribbling's gone up. His finishing's gone up. His pace is going up slowly. He can be very good. I think he just needs the game time now. But we want to train him because we've got decent facilities. So I'm going to probably keep him in and around the squad until maybe he's 18, 19, and then we'll try and loan him out to a League One team and see how he does from there. But very promising, very promising. He can definitely develop a bit more. And the next one we've been playing is Tyrell Newton. I'm actually quite happy with Tyrell Newton's development. He's developed a trait of gets forward whenever possible, which you'll see in a second. Um, as a box to box player, his stamina's not great, but he's made two appearances off the bench. He's performed very, very well for the under 18 side, and it's what we want to do. We want the youth side of it too. Um, he can do a job. Again, he's not fantastic. He comes on for like 10 minutes a game, if that. It's just to get him exposure to the first team. He's in and around training with the first team anyway, so I thought, why not? Um, Speaking of the youth side of it, because we are the first of March, we're about to get the youth intake in. I'll just show you very quickly our youth intake preview. It's actually decent. One thing I've not really noticed about FM, although we do have good youth facilities, so people will want to come to us because of that. And we've got like Neil Woods has got like a decent reputation. He's like 2-3 star. Um, I hadn't really noticed it, but if you look at the facilities, adequate recruitment, okay, but we've got great training and great youth facilities. Um, because we're based in Luton, obviously, sort of London ways. It's a big catchment area. It's very multicultural. Um, there's a few interesting players. There's this guy, because we've got two fullbacks who've got plenty of promise. There's a minimum of three centre backs who look rather promising. There's a wing back who is very highly rated, and we have one good young Romanian central defender from Siko Jozresti, who was caught the eye. The fact he's Romanian and we're close to London would suggest to me that they've put in the game sort of to reflect the multiculturalism, which I think is fantastic. And that's sort of it, though. It's going to be a few defenders. We're obviously not going to get the amazing players, but then that's where our scouting comes into it. We're going to have a little look. I've not actually looked at this for a little while. So we're going to have a look at the assignments and sort of see who's been found, if there's anyone worth scouting, anyone worth... Well, I get analyst reports on everyone, but there's anyone worth picking up. Steve Hetzker's looking at the young players. We've turned this off for now because we just want a bigger data pool. I mean, Martin van der Voort is a wonder kid on this game. He's not going to come to us. He's just simply not going to come to us. He's playing Champions League football with Ghent. He's not going to come to us. He's found a few. Robin Callum, 18 years of age. Simeone's lad playing for Atletico. Again, he's never going to come to us. Isaac Solberg, I did actually have a quick scout of him. Thought he'd be a decent young goalkeeper to bring in, but Tottenham want £11 million, so that's not happening. Harrison Burrows, again, a very good, competent player on the game. Very good traits. We've already had a little look at him. They don't want too much, 500k. Yeah, cool, okay. I get more interested by like the ones who get released, and at the end of the season, so when you get that email through, I pick a fair few from them and try and develop them from there. I've still got my eyes on Brahima Dukansi. I think he is developing quite well over in France. We need to get another analyst report on him and see how he's doing. But you can see his potential ability is pretty much Premier League level. There's a few interesting people that's popped up. Ben Johnson, again, maybe a loan offer. Ben Cabango is a very competent defender. I really like Ben Cabango. Very tall, very quick. He's decent on the ball. He's a youth international for Wales. I'm quite happy they picked him up. Luke Wolfenden's on the shortlist. We identified him in the last video. Can play a few positions across the back line. Ben Wiles, we're just not going to be able to afford. This is a new guy, actually. I've not seen him. Ajibola Alessi on loan at Mansfield from West Ham. Okay, 6'4" centre half. 1.2 million. Good marking, good heading, good jumping, decent anticipation, good positioning. Again, somebody, if you can turn the 10s into, 12s, 13s, so on and so forth, can do quite well. I'm quite happy with that. Tim Limpel, again, these are just some people that I'm going to have to like drill down into off camera and look at what's happening and who they found and so on. Here's Vicente, little Vicente, who goes and finds all sorts of players. Looks at the down and outs, basically the either the last chances or the ones who are performing quite well. I seen this one flash up a little while ago. Janino Bacanya, Juninho Bacuna, man, good player. I mean, I don't have 8.5 million, but again, if we could ever get him, that'd be great. Andrea Casanta, Vicente's actually knocking a few good recommendations up. Again, we need to look at the analyst report. We do it based on that. We don't do it based on the scout report, although it can sort of influence what we do. Doesn't necessarily. We're going to be looking more at these. Look, he is cheap. Anthony Masonal. We do need another goalkeeper. We're not going to get promoted. I mean, unless we have a crazy, crazy lucky run in the playoffs and manage to get into the playoffs, we're probably not going to get promoted. So we've been looking at a few goalkeepers and keeping tabs on them. You know, Mark Travers, a good young goalkeeper. You saw in the last video. The Peterborough United goalkeeper has been banded about for quite cheap. I think his contract's running out soon on it. There's a few players who kind of want to bring in, but maybe not. Andre Gray, my analysts are high on Andre Gray. Look at the colour of that. That is bright green. He's worth like 2.5 million. He's playing League One. He fits what we want. He does. He really does fit what we want. So again, it's unfortunately with this way of playing FM. Jamie Robson can play it, so I'm going on a tangent here. With this way of playing FM, you need to consolidate and get used to the fact that you are probably going to lose your better players, whether you want to or not. Better players in the team, including Simon Sluga, James Bray, Pelly Ruddock, who I never want to lose because he's already made 300 appearances for the club, which is mad. But it's the ones who are worth a bit of money that you might need to, you might need to move on. Simon Sluga is currently the best goalkeeper in the division. He's keeping a lot of clean sheets. You can see he's got a year left on his deal. He's worth 4.1 million. We could probably get between 6 and 7 million for him, and 6 and 7 million for a club of our size is actually fantastic. So we need to consolidate and just see how it goes at the end of the season. I don't want to lose him. If we go to the Premier League, which I highly doubt, we could probably keep him. We're probably going to lose him, though, in all honesty. So it's people like that. Tom Lockyer as well, another one, worth like 3.5 million. Good player. We could find somebody close enough to him, but it's going to be a case of intense scouting from there. But again, you just got to be resigned to that fact, and that's that's the crux of playing the game this way. But you might see at the top there, we've actually got a game against Peterborough United tomorrow, 8 o'clock. I'm going to pause you there. I'm going to skip forward to that, and we're going to live come the game. We're back. I'm slumped in my chair. I'm in my comfy position. Spoke about being more professional, Matt, and you're not being very professional. We've got the game against Peterborough United. They think we should go balanced. I agree. We're better than them. They're 18th. We are 7th. We're going to go in strong on George Grant and Mark and Shaqiri Dembele, who's a very good player in real life and on the game, actually. They play this 5-back formation. I've noticed a lot of the championship teams play this. But this formation that we play tends to get around it. So we'll just see how it goes. I've got no idea how the video is going to turn out on this. So we'll just see. I probably should have checked that out beforehand. You can see our assistant manager just does some mad stuff. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. James Shea, you're getting swapped for McLeod. Harry Cornick's back, so he's going to play on the wing. Owen Otasobi is not going to play CDM. George Honeyman is going to play CDM. On the wing, we can't drop Kai Naismith because he's playing so well. So what we tend to do is Cal Naismith, who can actually play there, ends up going left back, and Amari Bell goes left wing. If we do need to change anything up, Jordan Clark can come in. So on your dim is injured as well. So we lost Luke Berry, we've lost Tariq Akue, Uwakwe, Tariq. We've lost Tariq and Fred on your dimmer. So we've lost sort of three key players. So we sort of have a bit of a ragtag bunch. The Mad Hatters, it works. Mad signings, mad players, players that shouldn't work. Analytics, yay. Just interestingly enough, I just kind of wondering what you guys are planning for FM22. The beta's going to be out in a few weeks. Sort of normally comes out around the same time as FIFA, if not a little bit after. FIFA is out on the 22nd, I believe, if you've got like the early access. So, maybe 3-4 weeks time, we should have the FM beta. I'm thinking as a beta save, I might go Brighton. And that can be the YouTube save as the beta, as we get used to how the game is and the new match engine and whatnot. And then maybe going to Spain. I quite like the idea of managing Ibiza, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let me know. Let me know down in the comments what you're thinking, what your beta save ideas are and whatnot. I'd love to hear them. I've put socials down here. Got my YouTube link. That side. That side. That side. That's that side. Got the YouTube link that side. I've got the Twitter handle that side, and then there is the new YouTube gaming handle. Oddly enough, that is also my Xbox gamer tag. If you want to add me on Xbox, you have a fancy a chat. I don't play it all that often. I tend to get like maybe Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the odd Sunday in on it. I'm mainly playing this. That's kind of the reason why. But yeah, always hit me up on that. I'm always free, always down for a chat. We owe Peterborough what happened. They scored 2 last-minute goals against us last time, and that's what that's for. Andy Carroll's very motivated. Andy Carroll was not there during that time, so I don't know why Andy Carroll is that motivated by that. But he is. So, yeah. Go ahead, Andy. Is the computer going to hold up? Is it going to hold up? The plan is to actually buy better equipment, just to let you know. I'm getting to it. It's actually quite smooth. I'm happy with that. Anyway, here we go. Peterborough versus Luton at Kenilworth Road as James Bree and Amari Bell. You just noticed there, Amari Bell actually tracks back. It's kind of it wasn't planned of him playing there, but it's kind of his instinct to get back because he's a defensive player. But it worked out quite well. You'll see down here we are 2 points off of the playoffs. We're 2 points behind Swansea. Just had a mad turn of form. I said in the last video we want to consolidate, but we could potentially end up going to Wembley, maybe even to the Premier League. That'd be a massive turn of events. Mixing it up with Sheffield United, Fulham, Blackburn, West Brom, Middlesbrough, and Swansea. Hey, the Mad Hatters, little old Luton town. We've not had a lot of the ball, and that's not really our game. So it'd be interesting to see how the players adapt without me changing anything. James Bree is making his way down this right-hand side. Going to get it across, and Andy Carroll. That's what he's there for at the end of the day. He's a nuisance. He's huge. He's big Andy Carroll. Causes all sorts of problems off set pieces as well. We don't necessarily play for the set pieces, but we are quite good at them. We've scored the most amount of headed goals in the league. Although, oddly enough, I did notice when I was looking at the team detailed stats, we don't actually win that high percentage of headers. I think it was Middlesbrough. Neil Warnock's their manager, so kind of ties in well. The game's good at stuff like that. I'm just going to give them a bit of encouragement. They're not performing as we'd like. There you go. Happy faces. Getting a bit more of the ball as well. I'm just going to give it maybe till half time. If we keep having more possession. Oh, here we go. Here's a corner. George Honeyman whips it into the near post where Andy Carroll flicks it on. It's Big Andy. I'm telling you, I put the GIF in the Discord chat. the other day. It's the Jeremy Clarkson one. Sometimes my genius is frightening. Andy Carroll, man, is he going to be my Danny Graham? If we take off like Benji did with Danny Graham, is it going to be Andy Carroll? I'd love that. I love Big Andy. He broke my heart at Goodison Park though when he scored in the last minute in that derby, and I was right where he scored, and he shushed me right to my face. I've made myself sad now. Well, it's been decent. You can see Peterborough with this five back are keeping the ball quite well. I think what we need to do is maybe move the ball around a bit more. So we're just going to up the passing directness and we're going to go a bit wider. We basically just want to spread the pitch a bit more to force them further back. What I'm imagining in my head is with their five back with Butler and Ward, you can see sort of Hamilton, Taylor, Ward. I'm imagining they're sort of creating like a bubble around our three midfielders, which is not allowing them to pass the ball around as much. So we need to sort of just spread the play, and you can see it here straight away. Honeyman has gone straight down to the right hand side for Amari Bell, who's rapid, and this is why we play him at right wing. This is the idea. We identified what he's good at. He's quick. He can carry the ball, and look at this. He's opened a lot of space here for James Brady. He's going to get round his man and go down, and that's a penalty. And Big Andy's going to get it. Come on, Andy. Come on, Andy. Come on, mate. Andy Carroll. Man bun and all. Andy Carroll. Oh! Kenilworth Road erupts. As Big Andy gets his fifth of the season, he's our joint top goal scorer. He's been here for about a month. Andy Carroll. Straight down the middle. Kenilworth Road is in rapture. He's called me mad. I'm the gaffer of the Mad Hatters. I've got to be. Into the playoffs, eh? Hey, little old Luton Town in the playoffs. Fucking hell. Sorry, the dog's looking at me weird. Shut up, I'm trying to sleep. I mean, the change mightn't have been that beneficial to the side, but it seems to have worked. You can see when I was saying about, we need rotation options, a few players do get quite tired quite fast because of the way we play. We need the physical players really, which is why we've tried to find a few players who can play a few different positions. Again, we've got, Honeyman's a bit knackered, Naismith's knackered, but Bell can drop back in there, but Bell's knackered, so it's finding out the balance of the team. Very good, very good, very good in the XG, 1.34. Obviously, we scored off 2 set pieces, so we utilised them well. We know what we're good at, and we stick to it. Things can go better. I'm just going to have a little look, maybe at the defenders. Tom Lockyer has picked up a booking and isn't playing tremendously well. Alan Campbell's on the bench, so we can make a change in the centre midfield. I think I know the change I'm going to do. We're going to put Kenya out to right wing. We're going to bring Amari Bell off and put Alan Campbell in as the box-to-box. We're going to change Pelly Ruddock to the Metzala. And we're going to bring Tom Lockyer off and bring Owen Otasowe on. The idea behind this being, obviously, Lockyer's got booking there, is a little bit tired. Owen Otasowe is rapid and he's very good in the air. They've got 2 quick strikers up front in Clark Harris and Shaqiri Dembele. So we want to counteract them because I think they're going to come at us a bit more in the second half. But also we want that threat going forward off set pieces. And obviously Owen Otasowe is a giant on the game. So that's the idea behind it. And he's got to stay on because he's on a hat-trick. Eventually, we'll bring Daniel Butterworth into it. Cameron Jerome at this point is just the pure backup option. He's overtaken. Even Elliot Lee doesn't even get a kick of the ball now. But Harry Cornick gets us underway in the second half. It's Cal Naismith bouncing around off everyone, and they clear it. That's just the normal highlight you get at the start of a half. But you can see a lot of our attacks come down the right hand side, which is it's encouraging. We're not as heavily focused on both flanks. We focus on the one flank, but the players we've got on the right hand side in Uwakwe and Bella and even Naismith can play there. You can see at the minute, Leshabala's over there. I feel like we've got good enough players to be able to say that's our strongest side. As Cornick tries to switch it and it's intercepted by Butler, and there's Shaqiri Dembele. There you go. That's what I'm on about. He's rapid. It one switch off and he's in. So we need to keep an eye on that. I'm just going to give them another encourage. Yeah. I'm going to drop us to cautious. When that ball come over the top, although Bradley was in a good position, Kai Naismith was too far up the pitch. So drop us to cautious. He'll still get forward, but he won't be as liberal with his runs forward. Christy Pym is the goalkeeper we're interested in. Potentially be some Simon Sluga's replacement if we do end up selling him. Harry Cornick gets the ball. Alan Campbell. Andy Carroll. Harry Cornick! Oh, good save. Good football from Luton. Happy with that. We've been all over them. I mean, match stats wise, we've dominated the game. They're making a lot of fouls as well, Peterborough. I don't think they can handle certain players going forward. But I'm going to bring Honeyman off. He's struggling. Although he's having a good game, he looks like he's struggling. 65 minutes, I think McLeod can play for. He can survive that. I'm going to leave Andy Carroll on because he's performing well, and we're going to bring Butterworth in on the left flank as an inverted winger. He can actually play there. He's quite quick and he's quite tall as well, so he's just a bit of a different option. Not as direct as Harry Cornick, but definitely good enough to produce there. And it looks like the results around us are going quite well. Fulham beating Swansea, which is good for us. Fuck this game. Oh, fuck this game. I've made all my subs as well, haven't I? Oh, no. Yay! Yay! Here you go, Owen. You're going to play to midnight. Jesus, tonight. I picked a decent game to live, haven't I? Yeah, he can play DM. Can he pass the ball? I know he's good on it. 10 vision, 13 passing. Yeah, he can play DLP. Bruce Burke, who is a ball playing defender by trade anyway. So, yeah, happy days. Here we go. I don't know, eh? Good Sunday entertainment. I bet you can smell your roast dinner, can't you? Spuds. Spuds. Oh, dear me. Anyway, game is wrapping up nicely as Peterborough come back forward. There's Butterworth, good interception. Carroll knocks it onto no one, but he'll chase the ball down. It's Hamilton for Peterborough. Hamilton again, out to Tomlinson. He's played a good ball over the top for Smoijix. Good save, Sluga. So they're trying to. You can see he's playing as the shadow striker. I think they're trying to draw us out. So to counteract it, we're going to go higher from the off. We're going to get right in their face. We're going to get stuck in. We're not going to give them that opportunity to draw us out. We're going to be there anyway. So they're either going to be offside or they need to make better runs. I'm confident enough that their players can't make those runs because we've not really seen it. I mean, that's one of their 5 shots and one of their 3 on target. Just there. And immediately our possession stats gone up straight away. So it's gone down now. It works. Okay, it works. Forced them into a formation change. So I think we're good enough to see it out from here. Hopefully Carroll can last another 6 minutes because we are playing quite a high intensity game. Good tackle from Butterworth. He needs to be careful though. Naismith knocks it down the line. Edwards, good tackle, Alan. Go on. Get Andy Azachnik. Alan Campbell. Otasowi. Good run. Naismith. Ball across. Oh! Lesha Bella. Christy Pym long kick. Sonny Bradley big header on. Butterworth doesn't win it. Pelly Ruddock to Andy Carroll. Campbell. There's Butterworth. He might go for goal. Oh! Daniel Butterworth, the young lad on loan from Blackburn. What a strike. What a strike. Good football as well. Gets it in from the left flank. Nothing on, goes, do you know what, mate? Thank you very much. Again, he was picked up by a data analyst. They found him again. He played the odd game for Blackburn and performed quite well. Was doing well for the under-23s. They had him on the loan list. We took a chance, and he's paying dividends. He's somebody that I definitely want to bring in on a permanent basis, but we don't have 11 million. Andy Carroll, no, Lechabella! It's his first goal for the club. The centre mid, the right-footed centre midfielder playing right inverted winger gets on the end of this. It's good football again, you know. I mean, that's lucky. That's a great ball, though. And it's a tremendous finish from the South African. Give it a little dance, give it one of them. I'm more than happy with this performance, lads. Campbell with a big challenge. Edwards with the shot. Jones, get rid. I'm happy. Kenilworth Road's happy. You're all happy. I imagine you've had a lovely Sunday. It's my first day back in the office tomorrow. After nearly 2 years of working from home. Madness. That's the world come to, eh? We've got one last throw in to be taken by Mr. Naismith. Smashed away. Back to Bradley. Otasowie. There it is. A solid performance. A bit shaky when Peterborough got back into it, but you saw the thought process that I had in my mind of how to counteract them. We pushed them a bit higher. We forced them to play longer balls. We had two really good defenders at the back who win a lot of headers, and obviously Owen Otasowie was playing in the hole. Owen Otasowie was playing CDM. He's very good in the air. A very good all-round performance. The only sort of disappointing one was Pelly Ruddock, but he was just below average, so we can't complain about that. It is a result which I think leaves us fifth in the table, if I'm not mistaken, as Swansea were losing to Blackburn. Blackburn doing us a favour. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you like a bit more of the production value. We're still not going to venture into the editing side of it because I don't really have the time. But if I can make this more like a stream that gets uploaded, I'm more than happy doing that. Could potentially move on to streaming at some point in the future. We don't have the capability at the moment. But look at us flying high, eh? 23 goal difference. If we can even match Middlesbrough's, Middlesbrough or West Brom, even Blackburn, we are up there. We're fighting. We're fighting this Mad Hatters bunch. We are going for it. But anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you have a lovely remainder of your Sunday. And send me pictures of your roast dinners. I fucking love a roast dinner. But anyway, everybody, take care and have a good one. I'm Matt, and I'll see you all next time.